Welcome to another Carl Gosling 10-minute VR review. Why 10 minutes? Because people get fucking bored. So, squeeze that shit down, get all the important bits into 10 minutes. Is the game good? Is the game bad? How good, how bad? That's all you need to know. Let's get to it. Today's 10-minute VR review is about Asgards Wrath. One of the biggest games released towards the end of this year. I'm sure you've probably all heard of it if you're into your VR. So what are my thoughts on Asgards Wrath? So far, I've probably played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it. It's a big game. I think the developers say 40 odd hours of playtime if you actually want to do 100% of the game. So it is big. First things first, how does it look? It looks lovely. The attention to detail in the graphics and the effects are really, really nice. I would say not quite on par with Stormland if you've played that or seen my previous review, but still very, very, very good, right up there as far as VR visuals go. And you're going to need a reasonably powerful PC to run this as well, because I've got a RTX 2080 and a Ryzen 3700X, and that's just about enough to run it all maxed out and hold a solid 90 frames per second. So yeah, just bear that in mind. If you haven't got a PC, I've got 32 gig of RAM as well. If you've not got a PC of that sort of spec, you're gonna have to come down a little bit on the graphics. And to be honest, it scales quite well. You gradually drop back on the graphics. It still looks good, even on the medium and high settings. So you're not missing out on that much. But yes, it does require some girth to run it well. So visually, yeah, it looks lovely. It's great. The audio, sound effects, the soundtrack, also very good. Nothing to complain about there. Again, I would say Stormland, I'm comparing it to that because they're both big releases towards the end of this year. I'd say Stormland, again, at the moment, just feels slightly more atmospheric, but that's probably down to the type of game it is. You know, this is Asgards Wrath. It's got that medieval feel to it, you know, so the sound and the soundtrack supports that type of environment. I think maybe I just prefer the Stormland environment and the sounds and the soundtrack that comes with that. So that's kind of personal preference. But no, the sound is really good. The visuals are really good. The gameplay, which is of course really the most important thing, because you can have a game that's got poor graphics and average sound, but if the gameplay is really good, then it still makes for a good game. Take a look at Super Hot, for example. Games, you know, years old now, the graphics are very, very simple. They're almost monochrome. You know, it's like playing on an old ZX Spectrum to a certain extent, but the gameplay is really engaging and really good. So the gameplay in Asgards Wrath, the combat's good. I really like the combat, and I play everything on maximum immersion levels. You can choose whether you have to full parry or whether you can break that down to make it easier for yourself in the options. I have it on maximum everything because I want to really, you know, get the most out of the game. So the combat's really good. The gameplay itself is good. There's lots of exploration to do. The story is opening up quite nicely for the few hours that I've been in it so far. And this is very much an RPG. There is an awful lot of leveling up to do, and you go back to the tavern and, you know, you get upgrades and you buy things and what have you. So if you like that type of game, you know, that's what it's definitely not just like a, you know, an action sort of it's not like a first person shooter, but with, you know, swords and shields. It's definitely an RPG. But if you like that sort of thing, you know, you'll definitely like this. You get to get little creatures and convert them into companions. So you get a shark, you get a turtle. Is it a turtle? I think it's a turtle. And you literally pick them up and you create these companions out of them, and they fight along with you. They each have different strengths and weaknesses, and you can swap them in and out and call upon them when you need them. You can convert from your human form to your godlike form and look over the landscape and pick your companions up and move them around. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot. This is a game that requires time to play. It's not like a Beat Saber that you can just pick up, have a go on and put down. You do need to get into it, put the time into it, you know, keep track of the story of what's going on, keep track of where you've been and where you're going and what you're doing. So there's quite a lot of complexity to it. So if you like that sort of game, definitely worth picking up. So yeah, in summary, the graphics are really nice. The sound is really nice. The gameplay is really good if you like this style of game. And yeah, you won't be disappointed. So there's my 10-minute review of Asgards Wrath. Get it out, Carl. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for some more. I'm going to be doing a Carl Gosling 10-minute VR review as often as I can, as often as games come out. that I like the look of and that I'm going to give a go to. So I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.